From Deakin Supercross, welcome to the GCN show.
Welcome to the GCN show.
Coming up this week, hot or not, we are about to reveal our brand new GCN kit from a brand new GCN partner.
Hot. Definitely. We've also got a couple that got married during a race, how Primoz Roglic is already changing things at Bora Hansgrohe, and we finally find out what the spirit of gravel is.
Oh, thank goodness for that. We've been waiting a long time.
We have. This week in the world of cycling, we learned that Jonas Vingegaard is the new Peter Sagan. Not by being a threat in the Spring Classics, of course, but by rocking out a pair of legs even Chewbacca would be very proud of.
Yeah, you actually could have said he's the new Simon Richardson. Look, check these bad boys out.
Well, he doesn't quite have the same cankles as you've got, even with the hair side, does he? And he's also good on a bike, I've got to say. So the only thing in common, really, is the leg hair.
Thanks.
We also learned that aero is dead. Now it's all about aero.
Aero. See what you did there, mate. Now, with this new development, cycling style has taken another hit, this time courtesy of Cask. First, there was Pox Space Invader lid, then there was Specialized Head Condom, and now Cask are making your ears more aerodynamic. UCI, you know what to do. Forget about brake lever angles. That's the battle they need to fight,
the battle, isn't it? We also learned that Primoz Roglic has already changed Bora Hansgrohe's nutritional strategy. So according to L'Equipe, the newspaper in France, he questioned the efficacy of having multiple choice when it came to team salads on their training camp.
Yeah, so instead he suggested there was just one salad that meets all the riders' nutritional requirements. Marginal salad gains, I think.
Is that what we're calling it?
Yeah.
Is it?
Who knew that was a thing?
He's a lad.
Clearly, yeah.
And finally, we learned that Canyon SRAM and EF Education EasyPost led the way in the hottest kits of 2024, as voted for by you and revealed in yesterday's Racing News show. But there is one more new cycling kit we haven't touched on.
There is indeed, yeah. You've probably noticed across our channels that we have been getting quite excited about something lately.
Right. Jonas?
Crikey, seriously, Jonas?
Harder throw than it looked.
Check it out. We've got new GCN kit, both in the design and who it's made by too.
This is the 6th edition of the GCN kit since we launched back in 2013, and with it, we are going back to our roots with GCN Red.
I think it's the best one yet. Then I would say that. Hit the like button if you agree.
We are delighted to be working with AGU on this.
Sorry, no. It's not AGU.
Agu?
No, Ahu.
Bless you.
No, that's how you say it.
Really? Agu?
Apparently, it's not AGU or Agu. They're a Dutch brand, and that's how you pronounce it. If you're Dutch, you'll already know that and them. And if you're a cycling fan, you'll probably know that too. But for those of you who don't, here's a quick crib sheet.
Yep, so they started in the 60s. In 1974, they became the first brand to launch lightweight nylon bags for bikes, something they still do to this day. And then they got into clothing in 76, debuting what is now iconic in the Netherlands, the Agu rain suit.
Yeah, and in the late 70s, they got into pro cycling, sponsoring the all-conquering Panasonic team and the legendary Leontien van Walsel, 2 times winner of the Women's Tour de France.
Yeah, plus Rabobank for 16 years. And this is actually where I first learned of Agu. I was always really jealous of their clothing, particularly in wet, cold races, where they had these Agu neoprene gloves on. Funny what you remember, isn't it? And then, as for the present day, they supply clothing to the Dutch national team, so it was what Mathieu van der Poel was wearing on his way to World Championship success in 2023. Plus, of course, most famously Jumbo-Visma, now Visma Lease Bike. So you could say, I think, pretty much with certainty that now they've got GCN as well, we're almost certainly between us going to win one Grand Tour next year at least, aren't we?
Got it covered.
Yeah. Lloydie actually has already been putting Vingegaard and Kuss through their paces this year, actually.
Oh, sorry, I'm just in the Zwift ride. I'll have to call you back. Effort level, 1 to 10. Set.
Say the same about two.
All right, just to let you know, I'm at 8, Dennis. I would also say 2.
When you look at Ahu's range, pro level clearly forms a big part of it, but then so too does clothing for the everyday cyclist. That is clearly a priority as well. I was particularly pleased to see there is a dedicated section on the website to rainwear. Now, I appreciate that is spoken as a true Brit, but still, that's important to me.
And the last thing you need to know is that the brand is pushing to be a lot more sustainable. So they're using a lot of recycled materials, be that nylon, polyester, organic, and without the use of harmful PFCs.
Yeah. Now, none of us here at GCN are going to win any big races anytime soon, I'm afraid to say. But we do still take part in some epic races, don't we? Plenty of epic bike rides as well. So it's good to know, I think, that the clothing that we're wearing can train for and win Grand Tours, even if that's not what we're doing.
No excuses. But if you want to get your hands on the GCN kit, you can do over in the GCN shop.
That's right. Now, there we will be selling, wait for it, aero jerseys, premium shorts, got long sleeve jerseys like I'm wearing now, a vest and a long sleeve jersey made with Polartec Alpha material, tights, gloves, rain jackets, we've got rain jerseys, got snoods and the GCN cap.
Another interesting fact when I was reading about the kit is that the longs actually have a double layered on the thigh and the knees for a bit extra warmth.
And a windproof panel on the crotch, which is something that I have been crying out for years. Intriguingly though, that marketing blurb said that it was there to keep your body at the optimal temperature to perform.
What kind of performance?
Well, it didn't specify, but I mean, I can imagine, quite frankly, if it's, you know. Anyway, there we go. Let us know what you think about the kit. If you like it, as we said, give it a big thumbs up. And remember, of course, that if you want to get through to the GCN shop, there will be a link on screen now. And it'll take you straight there, won't it?
So, did you find out what performance has been improved?
I did, yeah. Right, what do you lot think? What do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we are very pleased because we designed it in conjunction with Ahu and we think it looks incredible.
Yeah, I am like properly chuffed to bits with this one.
It's nice to be back in proper GCN red now, isn't it?
Well, yeah,
in black.
And I particularly like these sleeves, the aero sleeves on the jersey. Now, obviously, it's been too cold to wear it outside.
But it's only a matter of 5 or 6 months now before you'll be able to wear this out and about in the UK, isn't it? Once it warms up.
Ah, that's right, yeah. But no, it was cool. We were out filming last week in Girona, and it looks mint actually. And the Polartec Alpha stuff is super warm.
Yeah.
Not to mention the windproof patches on the bib tights.
I was also out filming in Spain last week in a race against Jonas Vingegaard.
Well, we've just been hearing about it, haven't we? Yeah.
Yes.
When have people got to wait to watch that? Find out the results.
It's quite a big edit to make me look good. That one. So, a few weeks' time. No, I think it's this weekend, isn't it?
I think it might be this weekend, yeah. Anyway, get involved in the comment section down below. Let us know what you think about, this is version 6 of the kit. I was just telling the viewers. Version 6, yeah. Wow. I counted up. I mean, that's me counting, so it might be wrong. But anyway, this is the best yet as far as I'm concerned. Proper good.
I would agree.
And now it's time for cycling shorts.
Cycling shorts now, and we're going to start with the news that the Spirit of Gravel is now an official event.
Yes, this was something we saw on our very own website, wasn't it? Globalcyclingnetwork.com. So Keegan Swenson, Russell Finsterwald, Kerry Werner and Cody Cupp recently took on a 5-day Spirit Tour, which went through southern Arizona. That was to train and connect with the Spirit of Gravel.
Oh yeah, it's actually the 3rd time they've done it. To be fair, it is poking a little bit of fun at the Spirit of Gravel term that is often bandied about, but Kerry Werner has made an attempt at defining the Spirit of Gravel.
Oh, an official definition.
Yeah.
Basically what he says is that it's like a Venn diagram with 3 circles. Those circles being friendship, adventure, and training. And the Spirit of Gravel is the centre of that Venn diagram where all 3 circles overlap.
Training,
yeah.
Training can't be in the spirit of gravel, surely. That is like the total opposite.
Oh, don't shoot the messenger, Si. This is just what I read and presumably what Kerry said. I'm just letting you know.
Like, no gravel rider worth their salt has ever trained. Training is what roadies do. Gravel is where you just ride with intervals dictated solely by how stoked you are.
Stoked on what?
Life, bro.
Crikey.
Yeah.
I think we'd better move on, hadn't we? 2, some very heartwarming news from Scotland, where a couple tied the knot recently at a cycling event, which is called the Strathpuffer.
Yeah, it's a 24-hour mountain bike event, isn't it? And a particularly brutal one. But Steve Brown and Tracy Munro from Inverness were actually doing it for the 16th time. They started as an engaged couple and finished as a married couple.
Fantastic. Congratulations to both of them. If they made it through an event like that, they should be well equipped for the rest of their lives as a married couple.
They should, yeah.
A 24-hour event in which it's dark for all but 4 hours or so, isn't it?
Horrible stuff. Where did they even find someone to preside at their wedding? Did you mind coming out to like a muddy field?
All very well organised.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I've seen who might have agreed to do that
Yeah.
in the 4 hours of sunlight. It was done during daylight hours.
Well, legally it has to be, doesn't it, in this country?
Does it?
Yeah.
Well, I never knew that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's definitely an English thing. Pretty sure it's extended to Scotland. So that you can't, so that it's daylight so people can see who you're marrying. No, serious.
And so you can see who you're marrying, more importantly.
Right, yeah.
Some team equipment news now, because Lotto Destiny have now unveiled their new team bikes for the 2024 season. As you all know, after 12 years with Ridley, the team has now made the switch to Orbea bikes.
That's right, we were talking about this last week, but we hadn't seen them, and here they are. The riders will have the choice of the Orca or the Orca Aero in the team colours, and they look cool.
They do look cool.
I'm a big fan of that. And it is great to see Orbea back with such a high-profile team, isn't it? That we have been lucky enough to ride their bikes for 8 years now.
8 years.
Yeah, and they're a proper nice bunch of people, as well as making great bikes, aren't
Yeah,
they?
they are. I would agree.
Yeah.
Lotto Destiny are not the only big team, though, with a new bike supplier this year. So after an even longer relationship with Lapierre, Groupama FDJ are now using Villiers bikes. And this is what they look like.
I like it, Dan, but well, I don't like it as much as the Astana ones.
No?
If we're sticking with Willia, yeah, I think the Astana ones with the kind of like the icy paint job look mega, whereas that white, it's just a bit like meh.
A bit more bland.
Well,
The Astana ones do pop, don't they? In a nice light.
They do, yeah. I can't believe Willia have got 2 World Tour teams.
No, it's incredible, isn't it?
Isn't
you
it?
wouldn't have thought they had the budget for that.
No.
Now, as a reminder, our 30 in 30, so 30 minutes of exercise for each day in January, plus an extra one, I guess, because there's 31 days in January.
No, it's
if
a day
you
off,
still
that.
wish. Oh, isn't it a day off?
Yeah,
is it?
you get
Much
rest day,
earned
yeah.
day off. Anyway, it's still ongoing. Even if you haven't started it yet, it is well worth joining now. There's a presenter-led ride twice a day, 10:30 a.m. and 6:30 p.m. GMT, and they are non-drop rides too, so everybody is welcome, and everyone can pedal at their own intensity, but all ride together still.
That's right, yeah. You don't have to join us on Zwift for those, and you can do any 30 minutes of exercise. What were you doing? Squats with kettlebells.
For 30 seconds, yes. But that was enough to see me struggling to walk in the days post.
Yeah, you've got some serious cross-training going on. But John Cannings pointed out that not everyone has quite got the hang of 30 and 30. This is from Connor Dunn's Strava. If you have a look there, 29 minutes and 55 seconds.
That's not really in the spirit, is it, of the 30?
It's really not, no. No, it's certainly not in the centre of the 30 and 30 Venn diagram either, is it? Right, anyway, another reminder that you still have time to complete the Rouvy 3 Peaks Challenge, okay? This was something that we set for you before Christmas, riding the Ventoux, the Stelvio and the Grossglockner on Rouvy. Ollie did them all back-to-back in one day. You don't have to do them all back-to-back.
That we would advise you don't.
No, but if you complete all 3, then you'll be entered into a prize draw with 3 Rouvy subscriptions and a smart trainer up for grabs as well, which is pretty cool.
So the prize, though, for everybody who does complete the challenge of riding all 3 of those huge climbs is that you unlock the new Ahu GCN kit in the game.
Oh,
so
sweet.
make sure that you get involved. There's still plenty of time.
That's good, isn't it? Right, let us finish Cycling Short, shall we, with yet more evidence that commuting to work by bike is good for you.
Yes, as if we needed more. But this is some new research from Edinburgh University, which followed 380,000 people in Scotland.
Wow.
It concluded that bike commuting reduced the risk of mental illness and therefore the prescription of antidepressants.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Interestingly, the difference was bigger for women than it was for men, even though men were more likely to commute by bike. And incidentally, the study was published in the International Journal of Epidemiology, which is one of my favourites.
I thought it might be, yeah.
And its authors are hoping that the results are going to help encourage local councils to install more bike lanes because people were far more likely to commute by bike if they lived near good cycling infrastructure.
Yep. Makes sense, doesn't it? Here's hoping that they are right. Next up, hack/bodge of the week. Just before we get on to this week's submissions, a reminder that if you want to submit a hack or bodge, you now need to go to upload.globalcyclingnetwork.com. You can find it in the description below underneath useful links, so you can head there. Looks like a lot of you are now getting the hang of it, but we know it's a little bit of a change from the app.
It's not quite as easy, is it, as having it?
It's not quite as easy, but it was what we used before the app was started.
That's right, yeah, it works, doesn't it? It works, so yeah, in the description. Right. Should we go to Pat first?
Pat has submitted this, saying this bike is a Specialized Diverge. I usually ride my Rouvy Sport. A cheap alternative to a rocker plate, 2 generic balance pads, $18 each, cut in half and placed under my kicker core legs. Enough motion to increase riding comfort and yet very stable, even for sprints.
There you go. Well, that's pretty cool, isn't it? I like the cheapness of that, and it does looks pretty good, doesn't it?
That could have made the difference for me in my race with Jonas. Did I tell you I raced Jonas and Sepp?
When you say made the difference, we don't know the results yet.
Oh, crikey.
So,
I mean, what a spoiler that is.
Well,
I could have won by even more.
yeah. No, I think that's cool. I mean, I said last week to Connor that I'm not a massive fan of rocker plates. I don't feel the need. But, like, that is not off-puttingly rocker platey. That just looks like...
It's quite subtle, isn't it?
Fairly sensible thing to do, really, yeah.
Well, I am saying... hack.
I can say
because
hack.
I think it looks neat, it was cheap, sounds like it serves the job.
Yeah, colour coordinated, brilliant. All right, well done, Pat. Pat from Minnesota. Next up, this one from Fabian from Tasmania on a multi-day touring trip in Tasmania. 3 days away from finishing my trip, I stacked on loose gravel. Is that in the spirit of things, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. That's part of it. That's another bit for the Venn diagram. While I only scratched my elbow and hip, it did snap my STI shifter. I refused to end the trip there and managed to reattach the shifter with a piece of string. It allowed me to finish the trip, including going down a 10k downhill and shifting pretty well too. String is now going to be in the tool bag.
Oh, I see. I mean, it's quite a substantial string and a long piece of it, isn't it?
That looks good though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, as in when you look at what the shifter was like, oh, what a mess.
Yeah.
And then what it ended up as, fair play. That is 100% hack. That is like the definition of a roadside hack to me.
I'm agreeing with you on hack for that, but what I'm interested in is that in the picture before the string, it looks like there's already string waiting underneath the bar tape. Waiting to be put into action.
Oh, I see what you mean. Well, that's weird, isn't it? I mean, the bar tape looks like a massive bodge, doesn't it?
Well, then the bar tape on this picture looks like normal bar tape. Something fishy going on here.
Yeah, this feels like some kind of investigative journalism there, not just the GCN show. There is
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
something funny going on. Right, could you perhaps get back in touch, Fabian, please?
I'm still saying hack.
Well, I'm going to say hack as well, but please, you need to explain the process here. Maybe just stick a comment under the show if you can. But otherwise, I'm going to say, like, grade A hack unless someone else
two
points
hacks
out
so
different.
far then. One more to go. Let's see how this one goes from David from North Carolina. Handlebars are underused storage space, ideal for an assortment of zip ties, in case I or anyone else needs them. They weigh nothing, and you wouldn't even know they were there.
I mean, they are useful, aren't they? As like a get yourself out
So
there.
rear view mirrors, I'm considering getting one.
Oh yeah. I'm just checking the background because there was an infamous post, wasn't there? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember.
The early days of the GCN app where someone had taken a photo and hadn't realised there was a reflective thing in there. Turns out they were stark naked in the background. Brilliant.
I'm going hack. I think they're right. I mean, it's a nice place to store zip ties.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's where zip ties should be, like completely hidden. They're not rattly, are they? Because I mean, that would do my absolute nut in if you couldn't see the zip tie, but it just gently rattled in your handlebars. But no, I agree. I'm gonna say hack.
Hack from me is 100% hack this week.
Wow.
The 3 submissions that we've brought to you on this week's GCN show. Don't forget to get involved. Again, the link is in the description below, but it's upload.globalcyclingnetwork.com.
It's time now for Caption Competition, that part of the show where you get a chance to get your hands on a coveted GCN Camelback water bottle. Still on placeholders, aren't we?
Yeah.
No GCN Camelback water
Not
bottles
just yet.
but that is what it's going to look
He'll be
like.
throwing them over to us very soon, won't he?
Will he?
Oh, they don't have Camelback bottles, do they?
No, I don't think they do. No. They're not lucky enough. Anyway, where was I? Caption competition.
Yep. This was last week's photos.
There we go.
Tom Pidcock winning a cyclocross race.
That is a good photo, that, isn't it?
It's a good photo. I would say it's a good caption. Si disagreed with me.
Well,
it's a good.
go on.
It's a good caption. The reason Si disagrees is he thinks it has no relevance to the photo.
Well, you decide.
Okay.
Viewers, come on.
So the winner is Quivi Ravello. Sorry, just checking I got that right. Tom Pidcock, good start.
Yeah.
I was out cycling and someone told me that one of my mud flaps had fallen off. I said I'd carry on regardless.
I mean, love the play on words.
Yeah.
But what that's got to do with a photograph of Tom Pidcock looking over his shoulder in a cyclocross race, I don't know.
Well, he's looked over and realised he's regardless. Hasn't he?
Well, I mean, but potentially, I don't think I'd look that way. My mud guard. I think I'd go that way.
I do. Is that because you're old and it's hard to look? That's what I'm finding now.
Yeah,
that's
basically,
why I said I would like one of those rear view mirrors. My bike ride on Sunday, I was like trying to see if any cars were coming behind me. I was like, like that. Anyway, I think it was great. Get in touch with us on Facebook with a message and your address, and we'll get a GCN Camelback water sent out to you. Water bottle.
Yeah. Right then, come on, Dan. After 1 week of absence, it's time for you to flex your muscles. This is the photo we're going to give you this week. More Ineos riders, actually. This is Viviani and...
Ganda.
What's his name? What's that guy's name? Filippo Ganda.
And a multiple world time trial champion, world hour record. What's his name?
Yeah.
Filippo Ganda.
Can burn off 2 Big Mac meals in an hour down at full gas.
I learned at the weekend side. Right, well, we will get you started this week. What do you think of your new helmet?
What?
What do you think of your new helmet?
Sorry, mate, what?
I mean, I think that was genius.
Great,
I hope you agree at home.
Yeah.
You won't have the advantage of doing a sort of an act between 2 people in the caption competition.
Screenplays are accepted though, aren't they? You could do like, Viviani says something, what's his name? Ganna says something else.
You can put your full script as a caption.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the comment section down below. We'll pick a winner next week. I'll include Si in picking the winner as he didn't agree with this week's.
We could get it acted out, couldn't we? You get some trained actors in, like Hank.
Yes.
To do the honours. I'd love to know how much faster, if at all, those ear aerodynamic helmets
you'd
are.
hope a lot.
Well, I mean, I guess because your ears are quite aerodynamic anyway. Mine are not. So potentially,
they don't stick out that much.
Not vast amounts, but I mean they are they are big. So yeah, I'd be hoping for a couple of watts gained.
I've always felt lucky that my ears were like that because I've got such a long, narrow head. It looks ridiculous if my ears poke out. Right.
That's amazing. Oh, brilliant.
Okay, it's the end of the caption competition. Just before we let you know what's coming up on GCN this week, a look back at some of our favourite comments underneath last week's videos. First up, underneath last week's show, in which Si and Connor were presenting, we had this from Alan Brotherton. I enjoyed seeing Si and Connor on the GCN show. It seemed a much more friendly exchange. When Si and Dan are on together, it seems like a cat fight will break out at any moment.
Yeah, I mean, quite a lot does happen when the camera stops rolling, doesn't it? It's been a fairly difficult 11 years.
Well, yeah.
I can assure you, Alan, it's great bants, isn't it?
It really is.
It really is. Right then, Dr. Rusty5, I've concluded this week that drivers who hate cyclists are the same drivers who just hate anyone that gets in their way. They're the type of person who needs to find someone else to blame for them leaving late. Sure, some cyclists don't do themselves any favours, but neither do some drivers. Yeah, I agree with that. But having heard the prof talking last week, like genuinely, I do feel like it's not drivers' fault. Like it was all about basically you were busy racing Jonas and Sepp. Yeah. It's about how it's not a driver's fault that they hate cyclists or they get frustrated, because everything about roads is designed to make drivers feel entitled, basically, and that cyclists we do just get in the way, basically. Yes. So yeah, if you haven't watched last week's, I would recommend giving it a watch. It's like made me feel better about things. So that's good.
During my ride on Sunday, I was trying to work out if I was more or less of a nuisance. Now I'm going significantly slower.
As in, because
easier to get past.
Yeah,
perhaps.
But if you can't get past, then you're stuck for a long time.
Yeah.
That's a good point, that.
Right, underneath, does endurance really improve with age? Not currently for me. Andrea Brickman, but I wonder for non-pro athletes, if the fact that you have more time to train can also be a reason that more people in their 40s and 50s enter endurance races. Your kids are growing up, can get themselves to their own activities or are moving out, and you have more time to train than when you were in your late 20s and 30s. I know this is true for me. It's a very good point, isn't it?
Yeah, that is interesting, that one, actually. Yeah, potentially, your life does sort of change to allow you to do that.
It does. I can tell you that firsthand.
Because you got out on the bike for an hour.
Well, that also in part because Lorraine took the kids to golf. One kid being 21 at uni, the other being 12, going on 13.
Well, there you go. Yeah, happy days. You're going to be flying soon, mate.
I will, yeah. I mean, you wait till February of 2025.
Roger Simmons said, my wife once suggested I should ride 100 miles a day. That way, by the end of the week, I'd be 700 miles away.
Very good.
Yeah, I like that.
Meanwhile, underneath, how far do I need to ride to actually burn off a Big Mac? Bianchi1984 said, love that Simon Richardson had a stunt double for eating the burger.
Yeah, I tell you what, it was quite hard finding someone willing to eat it, actually. Yeah, it was, yeah. But fortunately, John Bevan stepped up to the plate.
Oh, did John?
Yeah, it was Johnny B, yeah. Anyway, Mad Maverick said something that a lot of people actually commented. I disagree in that I do think that calorie counting has its place, if only that it makes me conscious of what I'm eating and in what quantities I eat. In that way, calorie counting helps you live with moderation. So yeah, so I made a comment basically about how calorie counting is not an effective way of losing weight, based on the overwhelming scientific consensus, really, that it doesn't seem to be a very good way of losing weight. Particularly, well, a lot of people, it bounces back, doesn't it? So there's not many people manage to keep it off. But also because, as we talked about in the video, actually calculating how many calories you're burning is a really inexact science, added into the fact that the main thing is that a calorie isn't a calorie. So if you eat 1,000 calories of McDonald's, it's not necessarily the same as eating 1,000 calories of like whole grain goodness with salad and vegetables and stuff like that. So you can't necessarily guarantee that you're getting a great diet simply by counting calories. But I totally accept that a lot of people have successfully lost weight and improved their health through calorie counting. So,
whilst I agree with what you say, I'm not sure you should have delved into that.
What's that?
Well, I mean, I saw an Instagram reel from Tim Spector the other day in which he said that during 5 myths of food. And I went into the comment section. What a minefield.
Oh, really? People were disagreeing with Tim Spector?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Because he really does know his onions, doesn't he?
Yeah, and his broccoli.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, imagine eating 1,000 calories of broccoli. That would definitely have a different effect to eating 1,000 calories of macros.
Brian Johnson on YouTube, he's trying to reverse his age, eats 7 kilograms of broccoli a month. It's part of his order. Anyway, we're really getting off topic now. Finally, David writes...
I'm not sure I'd want to live that long if I had to. Like, I like broccoli.
Well, I mean, again, in the comment section, I think there's probably a lot of people saying that.
Yeah. I mean, how much is 7 kilos a month?
So miserable.
I mean, that does seem like a lot. Like, even on a week-by-week basis, that's a lot of broccoli. And I do like broccoli.
Just under 2 kilograms a week.
Char-grilled broccoli.
It's more in February per day, isn't it?
Oh, imagine that, yeah. Well, as if February's not bad enough already. You got to overdose on broccoli.
Right, back to the show.
Yeah.
David writes, you clearly had fun doing that one, so I leapt right on the bike and did my 30 for 30 on Rouvy. I've never had a Big Mac, but I think I burned off the 2 chocolate digestive I snuck in last night.
I bet you did, David. They're tasty, aren't they, as well? Right. Thanks for commenting under the GCN Biz. We do love reading it and also like writing back to you as well. So we'll come up with what's coming up on the channel.
Yes, on Wednesday, a train from Ground Zero.
Yeah.
What's that about?
Connor basically teaches you or gives you some tips on if you have been, well, basically for you. So if you've been off cycling, off exercise for a while, Connor gives you some tips on how to get back into it.
Well, I shall watch that tomorrow then.
On
Thursday, tips to nail your winter clothing choices.
That's Connor again, that is.
Is it?
Yeah. Right up there for you Canadians with your, mild, wet winters. Friday, do heavier riders descend faster? I'm
actually really interested in that one.
Yeah, it was really interesting. So Connor, it's quite hard travelling with a weight vest, particularly one that's 25 kilos. So it was fun and games getting out to Girona with it. But once there, we put it to good use. That's the first of our 25 kilo weight vest bids. And then on Saturday, it says here Daniel Lloyd versus Sepp Kuss and Jonas Vingegaard.
Yeah.
Is there much of a versus then?
Yeah. Even though it's 2 versus 1, then versus me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I cannot wait to watch this. I cannot wait.
In all honesty, as soon as I heard about that video, I started training for it. I heard about it just after the 1st of January, and the race actually was on, what would it have been? About the 8th.
That's amazing. I cannot wait to see that. Well, and, Jonas had hairy legs. Did you have hairy legs?
I know, I shaved mine. There you go. For that race, I need to turn up and find out the Tour de France champion didn't bother.
That's amazing. Right, and then Sunday, God, check this out. It's a week of big cycling hitters. Alex rides up Willunga Hill, the iconic climb from Tour Down Under, which is on this week, with none other than Richie Port, the king of Willunga. So
he started Willunga Hill with Richie Port.
Well, I know. I mean, Richie Port is obviously an ex-pro these days, so no word on
and actually,
how
Alex
hairy
is
his
quite
legs
fit,
are.
isn't he?
Alex is quite fit at the minute, yeah.
Maybe it was together all the way up.
Well, yeah. But also, Sarah Gigantic, she's going for it as well, isn't she? She's going for Cure.
That's what she said, yeah.
That's what she said, yeah.
Well, she had a good time at the Santos Women's Tour, didn't she? But it was a headwind.
Is that right?
Quicker, yeah.
Whoa. Okay. Well,
drops everyone into a headwind.
There you go.
Quite something.
Yeah. I like the fact that we got a bit of winter content for you this week, and then a bit of summer aspirational blue skies.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, even the winter Spanish skies looked quite summery in Saturday's video, which I suggest you watch.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. I think we've probably routed it on for long enough, haven't we, mate? Do let us know what you think about the new GCN clothing in the comments section down below. Remember, it's available to buy now as well in the GCN shop. So, head over there. Have a look.
Cool. Good to go now, Jonas.
Yeah, thanks, mate.